you have a wireless mic that also has the ability to record internally? You bought it for the wireless, but do you also use the internal recording? If you don't, why not? In most cases, all you have to do is hit the record button on the transmitter and it records internally. Maybe it's because you think it's too difficult to manage multiple audio files when you edit, and that makes editing harder. In this video, I'm going to give you reasons why I always record internally and why you should also seriously consider recording your audio internally, even if you're recording wirelessly to your camera. I'm also going to show you how easy it is to edit with multiple audio files. First off, wireless is great. It allows you to improve your audio by getting the mic closer to the person speaking. It's also super easy to set up. You just plug the receiver into your camera, set levels, and hit record. My MIC-2 makes setting levels very easy. Just tell it what kind of camera you're using, and it automatically sets levels. The DJI MIC-2 is not my first wireless mic. My first wireless mic was a cheap mic that operated in the 900 MHz band. It did the job, but it had lots of issues. Since then, I moved up to other wireless systems. The audio quality of these systems has been great, and the setup is both quick and easy, especially when you film outside. Wireless mics are awesome until they're not. Manufacturers like to brag about all the specs and features of their mics, but they rarely tell you much about the two limitations of wireless systems. First is range. The specs say most systems have a range of 300 to 500 feet, but that's a best-case scenario. Most of the systems out there operate in the 2.4 GHz band. Signals in this band are affected by objects in its path. Walls, metal surfaces, and dense materials like concrete can block signals between a transmitter and a receiver. The 2.4 GHz band is also one of the bands used by Wi-Fi. Just like you might have Wi-Fi dead spots in your house, 2.4 GHz wireless mic systems can have reception problems in some areas. The second downside is wireless systems dealing with interference. The 2.4 GHz band is the Wild West of frequency bands. There are a lot of things that operate in that band. I already mentioned Wi-Fi, but there's also Bluetooth, small devices like cameras and speakers, even microwave ovens. If you are in an area with a lot of equipment that uses 2.4 GHz, there's a chance that interference could affect the wireless signal. It doesn't take much interference to cause issues. In normal situations, it is rare to have interference, and most devices do a good job of scanning and working around other signals in the band, but interference can and does happen. So when the wireless signal drops out or interference impacts your signal, you need a backup, and that's exactly what an internally recorded audio file is. It's a backup that you hope you never need, but are glad you have. So besides limited range and susceptibility to interference, there are a couple of other situations that could happen that would make you happy you had a backup copy. First off, both of these situations are caused by what I like to call pilot error. They are in no way caused by the wireless system itself. So what if the battery in your wireless receiver dies in the middle of recording? Or what if the audio connector comes loose from your camera during recording? In both cases, a backup internal audio file would save you from losing all your work. Now, if the transmitter dies, nothing can help you there. But other than that, a backup audio file would save you from having to spend a lot of time reshooting or attempting to fix in the edit. So you need another reason to record internally? Many newer systems record internally in 32-bit float. If you aren't familiar with 32-bit float, basically, it's a way to record audio with much more dynamic range. If you want to know more about 32-bit float, there are a lot of good YouTube videos that go into much more detail. Just know that if you have a 32-bit float audio file, you have a lot more flexibility to fix audio issues. This means that if you didn't set levels properly, or you had parts of your video that were louder than you expected, and the audio was clipped, because you have a 32-bit float copy, you can replace the bad audio with the 32-bit float copy and save your footage. My DJI MIC-2 has 32-bit float, and I always use it. Okay, back to my wireless journey. After that old 900 MHz wireless system from the mid-2000s, my next wireless system was the first generation Rode Wireless Go system. It uses the 2.4 GHz band, and while using it, I had several times where signals dropped out. Luckily, I was able to fix it in post, but it was still a real pain to deal with. After I experienced several dropouts, I decided to upgrade to the Sennheiser G4 UHF wireless system. This improved the reliability of the audio at a cost of more setup time. With UHF systems, you run frequency scans to determine where in the UHF band you can transmit without having or causing interference. With my Sennheiser G4 system, I never experienced any signal issues. The G4s have a reputation for rock-solid operation, and I can confirm I never had any issues with them. When I picked up a DJI Pocket 3 in 2025, I got the Creator Pack, and with that, I got the Mic-2. This was my first wireless mic that had internal recording. Soon after I got it and started using it, I made the decision to always record internally. Even though my Mic-2 is one of the newest wireless mics on the market, it still can be affected by loss of signal and interference. Let's go outside and see if we can break my Mic-2. Okay, we've stepped outside. I've got my DJI Mic-2 set up. I've got a microphone under my shirt, the COS 11D. I've got it going into the Mic-2 transmitter that's in my pocket. I've got the Mic-2 receiver on my A7S III, and since I'm going to be farther away from the camera than normal, I won't be able to monitor the audio to see when the audio drops out. So I've got my assistant. My daughter's helping me out. She's the one over there with the headphones on. And we're going to walk out and see just how far the DJI Mic-2 lasts before it starts dropping out. Again, I'm recording internally as well. So once it does drop out, I could just swap out the audio and everything will be just fine. So let's take a walk. I'm about 40 feet away from the transmitter to the receiver. So this is definitely not something that you would normally do. You normally wouldn't be this far away from the microphone. You also may not be in an area that's this open. There's not a lot of 2.4 gigahertz transmitters in this area. So this is actually a pretty good location to try out range. If you were in an area that had a lot of obstructions, a lot of concrete, a lot of steel, probably not going to get this range. If you have internally recorded audio, there's a way you can fix that. We're going to go back into Davinci Resolve and show you how to do that. Okay, we are back inside. I had several cases where the audio dropped out between the transmitter and receiver. I didn't have any interference issues at the park, which is not surprising, but the result would have been the same: poor audio that needed a fix. Because I was also recording internally to the Mic-2, I have a backup audio file. Let's jump into Davinci Resolve and I will show you how I would fix this footage. Okay, I have imported the footage from the A7S III into Davinci Resolve. The second audio track is the externally recorded audio from the Mic-2. This is normally the way I record all of my videos: one video track and two audio tracks. The first thing we need to do is synchronize the two audio tracks. Normally, I would synchronize using timecode, but I know most people won't have timecode, so I am synchronizing using the audio waveform. First, highlight all the files, right-click, then pick Auto Align Clips, then pick Waveform. On your timeline, you have one video track synchronized with two audio tracks. Now, if you do what all professional editors do and review all your footage before you start editing, and you find you have one or more audio issues, you can mute or remove the bad wireless audio track 1 and use the internal audio track 2 as your audio track, and you're done. Okay, but Todd, I didn't have time to review all the footage, and I only found out I had audio issues during the editing process. Well, let's show you how to fix that. I went through and edited the footage, and this clip is the one with the audio issue. Notice the external audio file is disabled, so the wireless audio is the active track. The way to fix this is easy. There's actually several ways of doing the same thing. The first way is to replace the wireless audio clip with the external audio file. In Davinci, you don't even need to unlink the clip. Just drag the good clip over the bad clip and let go. Depending on the clip, you might need to adjust the level, and you also might want to add an audio crossfade to hide the edit. Just remember to enable the clip if it's disabled. The second way doesn't involve any clip moves. Go to the bad clip and lower the audio level to minimum. Go to the external audio clip and enable it and adjust levels to match the audio of the clips before and after the bad spot. Just like the first option, you should add a crossfade to hide the audio edits. There are likely several other ways of replacing the audio, but I am showing you the two that I have used. If you know other ways of replacing the bad audio, please let me know in the comments. That wasn't too difficult, was it? Can you see the benefit of an external recording? Again, you may never need to use it, but if you do, you will be glad you took the extra step of hitting record on your transmitter. What if you don't currently have a wireless mic and are in the market for a mic system? I would strongly suggest you get a system that not only connects wirelessly, it also records internally. This gives you the flexibility of wireless with the backup of internal recording. If you think external recording costs a lot, it doesn't. The Lark Max from Hollyland is, at the time of this recording, $139. With this, you get 2 mics that accept lav mics and 1 receiver. DJI has the MIC-2 for $189 and includes 2 transmitters that will accept external mics. Either of these will work great to capture audio. There are also systems from Rode, Saramonic, Sennheiser, and others. Many of these are around $200 to $300. It's so weird to me to be able to spend a couple $100 and get a dual-channel audio system. When I started out in video, systems having this level of audio quality cost thousands of dollars. We do live in awesome times for video. There's no excuse for poor audio. If you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I really like making these videos. If you enjoyed it, I would appreciate a like. If you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.